Welcome to my channel, and if you're here, then you know my name's Alicia, and today we're going to be talking about some really popular fitness myths. A couple weeks ago on my Instagram, I made a post about some of these common myths, and I asked you all to comment on which ones you would like me to talk about in a YouTube video. So because I got such an array of answers, I figured we're just going to run through all of them, and then since making that post, I thought of a few more that I like to touch on, so we're going to add those on at the end. So yeah. We're just going to jump in. I'm going to go through these one by one and explain a little bit more detail on each of them. And keep in mind, these are topics that I could talk on for a very long time, but for time's sake, I'm going to try and keep it very short and to the point. All right, number one, working out will turn your fat into muscle, and likewise, stopping exercise will turn your muscle into fat. So that is false. Think of having an apple and an orange. That's like saying you're going to turn the orange into an apple, or you're going to turn the apple into an orange. They're two physically different things. One cannot turn into the other. So same thing applies with fat and muscle. You can lose fat or you can lose muscle and then gain fat and gain muscle, but you can't turn one to the other. They're two totally different things that physically cannot transform into the other object. So obviously you can lose fat by being in a caloric deficit and burning more than you consume. And likewise, you can gain fat by eating more than you burn. But with that, you can gain muscle by consuming lots of protein, by working out and building that muscle up. And then you can lose muscle by not eating enough protein, not working out, lifting weights, that sort of thing. But more of the story, you can't turn one to the other. You are not a magician. So that's number one. Looking at number two. So your body will go into starvation mode and hold on to fat if you eat too little or don't eat often enough. So many trainers will say that you should eat 4 to 6 small meals a day. The best benefit that this brings is it helps you remain full and you're satisfied throughout the whole day. So some people, if they don't eat consistently, then once they're able to eat, then they will binge eat and they'll eat things they probably shouldn't eat and they won't stop eating. So that's the whole point of eating small meals a day. 4 to 6 small meals a day is simply to help keep yourself satisfied and full. If you skip a meal, if you do intermittent fasting, which you wouldn't, for instance, you wouldn't eat breakfast in the morning, you might not eat until noon. So if you don't eat half the day or if you skip out on meals or anything like that, you will not go into starvation mode. And in case you don't know, starvation mode is the idea that if you don't eat enough or often enough, your body will store all of its fat and you won't lose any weight. That is not true. So if you've ever watched Naked and Afraid, that TV show, those people after 30 days, they don't still have all their fat stored up because their body went into starvation mode. They're skin and bones. So that in itself kind of proves that starvation mode is a myth. Now, with that being said, there is some evidence that your metabolism may slow if you do not have food over a very long period of time. But with that being said, that only applies if, number one, you are on Naked and Afraid and you have to go days on end without food. So you have a very, very long time span of a matter of days without food. Or number two, you suffer from some type of eating disorder like anorexia. For the average person who might just skip a meal here or there, or who may enjoy intermittent fasting, starvation mode does not apply to us. Our body will not shut down. It'll not stop burning fat. We will still continue to burn calories. So don't let that be an excuse for your lack of fat loss or weight loss. All right, number three, you can target where you want to lose fat. So I've talked about this before in my blog, and my blog is on my website, so feel free to head over there if you want to read more about that. So I've had many clients come to me and say, okay, I want to do a lot of ab exercises because I want to lose fat here. Okay, we can do ab exercises and that will help to build muscle here and you'll get a strong core. However, that will not promote fat loss in your stomach. You cannot choose where you lose fat first. And it's the worst thing in the world about fitness because everyone wishes that they could. Everyone has different goals. But it really comes down to a few different factors that we can't control, like gender, your age, genetics plays a huge part in it. So some people naturally lose here first, and they are the lucky people on this earth. And then other people, this is the last place they lose. And that applies to whatever body part you're trying to target. So over time, you will begin to lose fat, and it might come off in your legs first, and then your arms, and then your glutes, and then your abs, or you never really know the order. But with that being said, you just have to be patient and know that eventually if you maintain your caloric deficit, you will lose your fat. But just know that doing arm exercises will not let you burn more fat in your arms. Likewise, doing ab exercises will not make you burn fat here. You can build muscle and help them become more defined and more sculpted, but you cannot target fat loss. All right, number 4, you can sweat out toxins. Sweat is 99% water. So with that being said, the other 1% is a variety of things such as salt and some proteins and some other stuff like that. Whenever you, and I've had a lot of clients say this, whenever you binge on a weekend with alcohol, your liver and your kidneys and your intestines do most of the detoxing. You don't sweat out alcohol. So keep that in mind. That's a myth. You can't sweat out different things. You can't sweat out toxins. You can't sweat out alcohol. You can't sweat out sugar. If you had a lot of cookies or cake or whatever it is, your internal organs do a lot of that for you. Number 5, only carbs can be stored as fat. So this is very untrue. Any macronutrient that you have an excess of, so fats or proteins in addition to carbohydrates, can be stored as fat. If you are consuming more than you're burning, no matter what macronutrient it is, it will be stored as fat. So most people fear carbs because carbs are usually stored as fat. So they mainly go on a high protein diet and high fat diet. That's fine if you want to lower your carb intake. However, be mindful that ultimately, if you're not burning more than you're consuming, that high protein and fat diet can still be stored in your system as fat. Number 6, you should do static stretching before working out. So static stretches are the stretches that your PE teacher has you do in elementary school and high school. So if you hold your arm here, if you hold your leg up, if you touch your toes, those are all static stretches. And back in the day, those were said to be good warm-up stretches. Now new studies have come out saying that stretching those cold muscles can actually promote injury and it does not prevent injury. So we want to do dynamic stretches. Dynamic stretches include squats, walking lunges, leg swings forward and backwards, and you hold onto a wall. Anything that helps you get warm. You have to feel warm, you have to get warmed up. Standing there and holding your arm this way does not warm you up. And it can actually do more harm than good. All right, so that is the 6 that I outlined on my Instagram page, but there were 2 other ones that came to my mind that I wanna highlight, so here they are. Another myth, waist trainers work. Do not waste your money. You cannot put a piece of material around your waist and expect it to suck you in and for you to lose inches. Don't take the quick fix. Diet, exercise. Everybody says it, but it's because it's true. So the most that a waist trainer may do is because it's restricting and it's making you hot, you might sweat more, but then you're ultimately just losing water weight. It's not fat that you're losing. It's not gonna take away those inches here. So there have been detriments to prolonged wearing of a waist trainer. So please be careful if you do choose to wear one, but just know that they don't help to take away those inches from your waist. Yeah. All right, last one. And this one is one of my favorites to talk about because there are several companies out there who will try to scam you just for you to buy their products. And that is the topic of a detox. So detox teas, detox juices, detox, anything that you consume is myth. It does not clear out your system. It does not take out all the toxins, because ultimately, if you could not excrete your toxins yourself, if your body could not excrete its toxins itself, you would die. So with that being said, your liver, your kidneys, your intestines do a great job of detoxing your body on their own. They do not need any special tea or any special herb or any special juice to do that for you. Now, with that being said, it is never a bad idea to cut out things like refined sugar, highly processed foods, because ultimately those are never good for you. So companies who try to sell you teas, juices, all of those things are ultimately just trying to scare you of these toxins into buying their products. That's not to say that they're not healthy for you. That's not to say that you might not have other benefits from them, but the sole purpose of detoxifying your body is not a thing. So I can think of several companies off the top of my head that promote their products through this kind of marketing. I will not name any of them, just because I do know some people that are associated with them. However, please do your research before ever buying a product that you are putting into your body and that you are consuming. All right, that's gonna conclude this video. So I hope that you were able to take something from this and learn a little bit about these different myths, because work out smarter, not harder, right? So be sure to subscribe for future videos, and I will see you next time.